Hey, it's Neil Parfit. How are you? Well, another week has gone by, and another week of endless comments that are just ridiculous. People complaining about this and that, and why I'm not using all my cards in Linux because all the professional audio is in Linux. Uh, why is the world flat? How come I'm not using Fruity Loops? You could do all this in GarageBand. I honestly thought there was some good irony having some mediocre phone sound. Anyway, it's kind of endless and entertaining. And a few videos back, I did promise to explain why I'm stuck in this ecosystem. So currently, I'm 176 cat years old. That might be 40, but this is the internet, so there are no facts. I don't know if it's true. I'm going to take you back 22 years into the past. It was a different time. A terrible, scary time.
In a world where children walked to school. In a place where VHS tapes were rented and then DVDs, and you don't know what either of those are. In a time where trolls couldn't troll you in public. Instead, they were in the underbelly of IRC, browsing ASCII porn, alone. And most importantly,
Not only is this the manual to a very world-famous DAW, it's also the most famous bathroom book in studio history. So let's travel back into the past. Well, here we are. It's either 1998 or 1999. Also imagine me 20 years younger, bigger hair, 20 pounds thinner, all those things. In the early 90s, it was a completely different scene for digital audio workstations. Computers were really slow, and everything was dedicated DSP workstations. These were the days of Fairlight, Optophile, radar systems. These were all insanely expensive systems and way more than the Mac Pro I just bought as an FYI. The early and mid 90s, most home computers were just dealing with MIDI sequencing, and this is like the days of Atari and Notator and all those things. So when I started music engineering in college, we were taught on two apps. Number one, Logic Audio by eMagic, and number two was Pro Tools. And my first year, it was literally Logic and 24-track tape. And by the time I hit second year in the program, they were teaching Pro Tools. And this was the first year the college had Pro Tools, moving from tape. This was a Pro Tools TDM Mix Plus system, I believe. And I think it was only 24 tracks of audio, maybe 32. But these were the two options and what I started learning on. At home, I was using Cakewalk Pro Audio 4. Before that, I think I was using SoundForge, and these are all on PC. When I went to college, I brought a PC with me. I think it was like a Pentium 2, whatever. It was slow. I had 128 megs of RAM, but I was able to work on music at my apartment and not go into the computer lab at school. And they had all the really expensive Macs and all that stuff, but because Logic was cross-platform, I always did my work at home. So I've gotten really comfortable using this software, and I was always PC-based with it. When I was done college, it was around 2000, 2001. My grandfather left me a little bit of money, and I bought my own copy of Logic Audio Platinum 4. And then I spent $300 and updated it to version 5. That's when they introduced all the automation system. And it was all awesome. I could work on all my stuff on PC, bring it to my friends who had Macs. They could give me their Logic sessions. I could open it on mine. It was very easy going back and forth. Mac users did their thing. PC users did our thing. Cool. And then in mid-2002 is where it all changed. And that's when Apple bought eMagic. And that's when things started to get kind of bumpy. So for a little while, everything was fine. I was on version 5.51 or something like that. And I was able to do my work. Everything was fine. And then Apple completely pulled the plug and they're like, we're not developing on PC anymore. As of version 6, I think it was, PC support is over. Either switch to something else or jump ship and come with us. And at this point in time, I'd been using this software for years. So I had a really hard choice to make. Do I, one, abandon the software I know inside out to buy something new and relearn, and then somehow get up to the same speed really quickly as something I know blindfolded? Or do I suck it up and buy a more expensive computer to keep running the software I use, the software that can open all the sessions I've worked on in the last 4 years that I might need access to, the software that has its own set of plugins that are compatible with my previous sessions? Anyway, logistically, oh. So that's what I did. I kept using Logic, and Logic is Mac only. So I'm using OS 10, I'm using Logic, and that's why I'm on a Mac. All DAWs out there are like their own islands. They all have their own particularities, the way they handle things, the way they have their own native plugin formats on top of audio units and VSTs and all these things. So there's no easy way for me to jump ship. Then I don't have access to all the files I need when working on multi-seasonal shows, the clients I work with, etc., 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 etc. So am I really saving money if I jump to a different DAW right now? No. The amount of hassle and time it would take to switch gears and relearn up to the speed I'm at with this, that's 20 years of muscle memory. It's just so that's the end of that story. And let's just go back to the future for a second. So here we are. We're back in the present. You might think there's a continuity error, but I've always been a McDonald's professional. See you later.